few more minutes. I hope you've all gathered your items that you need. Needle and thread, material, polyester fiber fill, and a button if you desire to put a button on. So let's get started. First, we want to make sure we have a prepared button. And this is my little box of buttons I prepared in advance. Since I'm using this Harry Potter material, I'm going to use a blue cover button. Next, we want to get our needle and thread ready. You want to have everything ready ahead of time. And if you have a hard time threading a needle the normal way, make sure you wet the tip or get a needle threader, and that will help tremendously. I showed you in one of my videos how to tie a thread at the end. Make sure your fingers are moist. And voila, you have your little knot. Clip off the excess thread. So we'll place this needle in our thread and hold it like that. So with your material, you want to fold it right side facing together. Right sides facing together. And you want to make sure you cut off even sides if you want a square pillow. Now you can make rectangles pillows all if you want. This is kind of a square rectangle pillow because long side is longer than the side. So this is like a rectangle pillow. And what you will do next is sew 3 sides together. You want to leave one side open so you can stuff it with the polyester fiber fill. And like I showed you on my live a couple weeks ago, with the basic machine, you want to do a zigzag stitch at the edge so the fabric will stay together. Remember, leave one side open. You might want to clip the edge so you won't forget. I'm just going to put a little pin in here. Right here. To remind me not to sew that side. And here we go. We're going to do a zigzag stitch first. Remember with the zigzag stitch, you want you see that zigzag? You want that at least to 3. And for other materials, you can use 1 or 2, but that's for real tight stitches. And your stitch length, on 3. Pull up the lever when you get to the edge. Turn your fabric around. Remember to pull the lever back down, because if you start sewing with the lever up, you will have a tangled thread, and you might have to rewind the bobbin and thread again. So because I cut this material on the edge, I only have to sew 2 sides right now. Clip that. Take the pin out, because now I remember I don't have to sew the edge. So since this is the basic machine and we did a zigzag, we want to follow up with a straight stitch so it will not come apart when you wash it, or if the pillow is handled roughly. Straight stitch, put the zigzag on 0 and leave that on 3. Pull it up, turn it, put the lever back down, and continue. And you want to make sure the edges are firm. So you want to, if you have a basic machine, this is a lever to go backwards. You want to pull that down and go backwards 2 or 3 stitches. Well, that was like 5 or 6. And then go back forward, and then you have a locked edge. Not coming apart. So now we want to, if you have raggedy edges, you can cut them. It doesn't really matter because no one would see this, because it would be inside. See what I did? I just cut the raggedy edges. Now you want to turn the pillow over to the right side. Make sure you get all the edges pulled out. You can do it by putting your finger in there or getting a tool, such as a little wooden blade. A little wooden stick that comes in here. Now you want to stuff the pillow. Now, since this is washable, we want to stuff it as much as we can. Even though it may seem overflowed at one moment, we want to stuff it as much as we can. And we want to get the stuffing in the edges. I think I forgot to tell you, you need straight pins, but if you're confident in sewing, you really won't need straight pins. So if you need straight pins or 1 pin, you can use this. If you don't have straight pins, or you can just do like this and put the pillow like that and start sewing. Let me stuff it a little bit more. Now we are going to close the edge. Now, if you have labels, you want to put that in here before you sew, or you could have sewed it when you sewed the other 2 or 3 edges. Let me get my label. Care instructions. And I did this on my computer. Now, I'm certified with the state of Ohio to sell pillows, dolls, and bedding and furniture. So I'm required to have a label. And I showed you how to do this on your computer with Tyvek paper. You can order Tyvek paper from the stores. See, it will not tear at all. If you go to your pillows you have at home, these labels are made with Tyvek paper because they have to stay on the pillows and furniture until the consumer rips it off. I'll do another demonstration of how to make your own labels to save on costs. Now let me get my pillow label. Keep sewing. If you haven't completed, keep sewing. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I hope everyone's just about finished with their sides. And now we're going to add the required label. Okay. It's easy to get a license to be certified to make pillows in your state. It was real easy in Ohio. You have to go to the state website and look up. In Ohio, it was bedding manufacturers or something like that. You have to go to the capital city in your state. So this is how I put my labels on. Usually I leave enough raw edge at the end so this will not be covered up by the material. But since I messed up and I didn't leave enough, I'm going to do it really carefully. So put the labels in between the material like this. This is actually easier before you get to this part while you're sewing the edges closed. I'll do that way the next time. Pin the tags together. I'll just pin my skin to the tags. Always poke myself. Make sure the tags are even. Make sure the label is readable. And you might need 1 or 2 just to be on the safe side. I usually pin it long ways like this so I can just snatch the pin out before I get to that side. So put the edge under the needle. Don't worry about getting the exact edge right now. You want to leave some leeway so you can start sewing and then back up and get the edge that you could not get at first. Now you want to take the pin out and keep sewing. Make sure your label is not coming out like it is right now. You can take this pin out because you've sewn part of the label already. And if the label comes out, just tuck it back in. And you have your label. Now we want to determine the middle of the pillow. Sometimes you can just eyeball it. Other times you have to measure it like this. So let's measure it. Okay, now this is the wooden stick that comes in the polyester fiber fill that you can use to push the edges out or push material in the edges. And we got our handy dandy ruler. So we're going to measure diagonal. And just mark the center. The center is between 7 and 8. That's a little janky, but we know what the center is right there. So we want to take our already threaded thread, put the thread in the button. You can do it either this way, or you can just already put the thread in there and add the button later. And you might want to use a thimble if you can't get the needle in. So the button came out. Now that you have the thread in the center, add the button. See that? Now, you just take the needle and stick it right through the middle again. You can clip the thread off the needle, or my TikTok live just stopped all of a sudden. Okay, you can clip the thread off the needle, or you can put the needle through the tied off thread and pull the button like this. Keep pulling. And you want to get thread that's pretty sturdy, pretty thick. This is the cheap thread, but I'm doing it carefully so it won't snap. And you can just the back, do a couple of loops through the back and keep pulling it. Or if the thread was long enough, you could have clipped the needle, the thread from the needle, and tie both ends like this. We'll do that next time. See, you have a tufted pillow. And you can make it as tight as you want. I'm going to do it one more loop through the back. And cut the excess off. And there you have your tufted pillow. And if you're licensed to sell it, you can place it on your website or sell it through TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And there you go. Be sure to follow me, subscribe for more live videos and more tips and tricks in sewing. I need more YouTube followers. So I won't have to go live on my computer because that's where I had the most difficulty on YouTube. I need to go live on my phone on YouTube. So if you like this video, go to YouTube, Sherri and Company LLC, and follow me, please. Until next time, have a great day. Thank you for joining.